Hi, everyone. It's Coach Mo for Motivational Monday. I'm trying to judge where the sun is coming in my office. I'm happy to have you here today. And just so we know what's going on today, just going to type in my little title, Make This Year Better. That's what we're going to be talking about today. There we go. So as we approach the end of this year, with, days that we can number, maybe not on two hands, but we are coming toward the end of what could be the best year you've ever had. And I know for about 225 women this year and over 540 over the past 5 years, they claimed their best year ever. And some of you might be skeptical. So I want to talk about what's available to you. I want to talk about a life that could be better than you imagined. And here's the truth. On the other side of whatever you're going through, there could be something awesome for you. I want to show off my shirt here. Again, the sun is just like coming at all angles. Whoops, other side. Kickass Pit Crew. If you've been following me for a while, you know the name of my 12-week workshop where I help up-level professional women into the life and career of their dreams. It's called the Kickass Career Workshop because all of us want to feel that level of kick-assness and that we walk with a bit of a swagger and self-assuredness, and that no matter what's going on out there, that we're okay in here. And that level of confidence, that level of feeling another level of certainty about who you are is the most magical place to live. But so many human beings don't even know that it is possible for them. So I want to explain a little bit about that, because if I've spoken to you on a clarity call and we've talked about what's going on with your career and we've talked about the things that are going wrong and we've talked about the trends and getting fired or laid off or having bad bosses over and over again and not standing up in your power and getting passed over for promotions and just feeling crappy and not that you feel appreciated or that you're playing too small. So many women we speak to, their main problem is that they're playing too small and they've been following the bouncing ball of their career over and over again to the same type of job. And eventually, by the time you hit your 40s, it's like too tight. It's like my 2.5-year-old granddaughter says, too tight. Your career, your current job may be too tight for what career awaits you. But here's the thing, on the other side of too tight, maybe no one ever taught you or showed you or mentored you how to go to the next level. So you got this sun coming in now. I'm going to have to be doing this. Woo! Look, I'm happy to have sun. I'm happy to have sun coming in and streaming in my office, hitting me on the shoulder. Whoops, this shoulder. So you may not know what truly is available to you, but I'm going to tell you something. Your soul, that inner part of you, is begging you to do something different. Not just to quit a job, not just to chase down the next opportunity, but to up-level in here. This person in here. Oh, I forgot to tell you what the Pit Crew is all about. Oh, I keep going. I'm on mirror image, so showing this. So Kickass Pit Crew. One of our dear clients who graduated a month or 2 months ago, Kathy, I don't know if you're here or not, but thank you very much for this beautiful post. So every time one of our ladies graduates from our Kickass workshop, one of our coaches basically honors their journey and says congratulations and wraps all of one bunch of wonderfulness into a nice post in our community Facebook group that you're only in if you're in the workshop. And this particular client came back and up-leveled our post Or maybe you did it before our post even came out. And she basically was so full of gratitude and generosity that she felt like we were her pit crew. So she's making lap after lap after lap after lap, and she like comes into her pit, and the crew is changing the tires and pumping her with gas and cleaning the windshield and making the car run as fast as possible. Off she goes for another couple of laps. So I thought it was really awesome that she called us her Kickass Pit Crew. And so I got my entire team, thank you again, Kathy, shirts with the Kickass logo and Pit Crew. So we all feel empowered now that our job in service to the ladies who are in our workshop and in our tribe, because once you're in our workshop, you get lifetime access to our tribe and ongoing coaching, that we're your pit crew. We're here to get your tires revved up, fill your gas tank, and just be there for you along the journey as you're going lap after lap. It gets tiring without a support crew. And, you know, I don't care how wonderful your partner is or how great your kids are, having professionals who understand how to up-level you and how to support you through storms and rough turns on that track really is all the difference in the world. And we see this time and time again with our grads. So happy to be the Kickass Pit Crew. I guess I'm the pit crew boss. I want you to imagine right now, if you had that pit crew, and some of you here on this Facebook Live, hey, Michelle, nice to see you. Miliana, I got two Michelles here. Wandashu, nice to see you here. I hope I got your name correctly. Please feel free to comment. Let me know that you're here. I got a nice little comment section right here on my screen. Happy to know that you're here. Once you have professionals who know what they're doing to support you, and again, not just a loving spouse and kids and family, they all care about you, I'm sure, but none of them really know how to truly support a human being through a journey, through a transformational episode. And so many of the women we work with actually are going through job trauma, job loss, which of course in and of itself is a job trauma, perhaps a series of bad bosses, perhaps being passed over for promotion. We've had women who've been in the company at executive levels going through buyouts and mergers and feeling like they've gotten the real short end of the stick and they wanted to quit. But we helped them hang in there so that they could get the benefits of the new company. And then perhaps there's something new outside the company. If you've been following my work, you know I'm not a big fan of quitting your job. And I personally have lost my job 6 times in my professional career. Each time after I got through it and got coached and up-leveled myself, the next job was a higher level and money and excitement. I posted something in my Bring Your Soul to Work Facebook group the other day about how most people who lose their jobs go $20,000 to $40,000 backwards. Most people who either lose a job or quit, their intellect is telling them that the job was too big or I don't need that kind of level of stress. I'm going to downgrade myself. I'm going to tell you what, that is not your answer. Downgrading yourself is going to give you more pain because here's the deal. Thank you, Kristen. That's awesome. So here's the deal. You are meant for something more. And if things aren't working out for you at the level where you're at, most of the time, I would say it's almost 100% of the time of the ladies we talk to and the ladies that we work with, you're not playing at the right level and no one gave you the training manual or the instruction manual on how to get there. So it's not your fault that things aren't working out, that you're working in too small of a box, that you're being pigeonholed and put into this smaller container. It's time for you to emerge and make this your best year ever. It's time. It is absolutely time. Perhaps you've lost your job this year and you haven't quite gotten traction yet. It's time. Perhaps you've had just one too many days or weeks with that boss completely being passive aggressive or demeaning you in front of people in meetings or being up and down and just not being that good of a boss. It's time for you to take the driver's seat, the steering wheel for your own life and career. No one is going to do it for you. You know, it's really nice if we can have that one time in our lifetime where we have a boss who really gets us and really supports us, but that boss is going to come and go. You have got to take your career and your life in your own hands, not in your partner's hands. Your kids don't have the reins either. Family of origin, goodness sakes, don't give them the wheel. Oftentimes, the women we work with are first generation college or graduate level educated, and they didn't have the role modeling in their family of origin to increase their career or take it to the next level. So we're here to help you do that. In my 30 plus career, I up-leveled, I think 10 times. I have to look at my LinkedIn profile, my resume, to see what that's all about. Count the right ones. I know I had 13 jobs in my career starting as a registered nurse in a cardiac care unit at University of Pittsburgh Hospital. And even at that job, and I was doing with heart transplants, lung transplants, post-cardiac surgery, I didn't feel like it was enough. I didn't feel like it was allowing me to be all that I brought to the table. So I went into cardiac rehab and helped those patients recover and exercise and eat well. I was teaching stress management as a 23-year-old young nurse. So I've been teaching stress management and meditation techniques for 35 years. I know. I look youthful, don't I? I've got a lot of experience in this youthful look, let me tell you. So what we do with the women who we work with is take them on a journey back to their soul. And your life gets so good when you have the power of the intrinsic, authentic, real, unchangeable you. And that's how you make the year better. You don't just change jobs. You don't just go out interviewing for the next job, because you're going to repeat the same pattern that you've just repeated for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Do you want to repeat the same pattern going into next year? Do you want to repeat the same pattern as you're wrapping up this year? I got to think you don't. But I'm not living your life for you. You have to decide. You have to decide if now is the time. And if not now, when? A beautiful woman emailed me after watching my webinar and said, hey, I'm not sure if you can help me. I've been out of work for 18 months. I'm going for this level of job, and they keep saying I'm overqualified. That's telling, okay? That's telling. And she doesn't want to do this and she doesn't want to do that. Okay, I get that. It sounds like she's in a trap. And if 18 months, things haven't gone in the right direction, something is obviously not working. So darling, if you're on this Facebook Live, I would love to help you out. Let's book a clarity call. Let's sort through what's really going on. And let's get to the bottom of it. Oftentimes, hear me out, ladies, you have to look at the woman in the mirror and decide if she is going to finally do something different and truly own who she is and what she's worth. And I'm not talking about opening a sewing store or an upholstery shop or a cupcake bakery. So many people get this whole idea of pursuing their dreams in a very romantic, overplayed, idealistic way. I can tell you 90% of the women we work with, we're helping them overcome decades of defense mechanisms and self-protection that have been needed to avoid feeling bad, although you're still feeling bad in the workplace. And once we get through those layers, you realize in many cases that the profession and the work that you've been doing is not the problem. It's how you've been internalizing and processing and how you've lost your power along the way. So make this year better by finding your power. And if you don't know where to find, call your pit crew. We're on it. We know exactly how to help you find your power. We've done it for over 540 women. And you know what? We have a very specific process in my 12-week workshop that our ladies follow. Not one of them has done it the exact same way. So if I lined you up with the best chocolate cake recipe and gave you the ingredients, you'd put your own signature on it. You'd put your own stamp on it. Some of you would measure the ingredients out exactly right and follow every direction. That's great. We've got the exact recipe to follow, and some of our ladies follow the exact recipe. And then there's those who need to throw in a creative dose, or maybe they don't want to make a chocolate cake. And while they're making it, they're like, I don't like this. I've made chocolate cakes before and I've been a failure. So I don't want to keep doing this. And we got to coach them through that. And sometimes while they're making the chocolate cake, they get a little excited and they might miss an ingredient and put it in the oven and it comes out and they feel defeated, and we got to coach them through that. Sometimes the cake comes out great in the oven and then the frosting doesn't go well. We had a beautiful woman who interviewed at a great job. I think she had 3 interviews. Oh, she was rocking it. We were sure she was going to get the job because it all lined up perfectly, and it was just awesome how she was showing up. She didn't get it. But you know what? She learned a load of confidence, skills, techniques, and now she knows that she can absolutely show up for that level of job and totally own it. And, you know, sometimes those jobs don't work out, and a couple of months later they call back and say, oh, you know, the one we hired didn't really work out. We'd really like you to come in for that. That's happened more times than I can tell you, as a matter of fact. So the thing that we emphasize to make this year your best year ever is to be the best version of you that you've ever been. And that is your guarantee. Now, likely that you don't know how to do that. It's super likely if you haven't gone there yet. It's super likely if your life and career is not where you want it to be, that you just don't know how, not your fault, to be the best version of you. And if you keep repeating all the things that you're doing year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day, and you're feeling the same way, and you keep showing up at the same version of you, you're going to have the same result. And you're going to attract into your life the same things that you have attracted in the past. Now, if you've up-leveled a bit and you've changed a little bit and you really want to get to that next thing it's just a little bit further away, I'm here to tell you that about half of our ladies in the workshop didn't even know that a wonderful life was possible, didn't even know that they could fall in love again with themselves and totally be in their soulful alignment. So many women I speak to are afraid of up-leveling because they think it's going to take away from their family and their work-life balance, which, by the way, none of them have anyway, so I'm not quite sure where they're coming from, except there's a fear. There's a fear that they don't want to be political. They don't want to be someone who's playing games. They don't want to be a liar or inauthentic. Just because you've seen other people do that in leadership doesn't mean that you will do that. And it certainly doesn't mean that you have to do it. Now, if in your company, that's the culture, that's a problem, because you can't change culture. I can't coach you to change the culture of your company unless you're super high executive level up there, in which case, let's get at it. All the time, your fear brain, okay, this lovely piece of anatomy, is creating stories to protect you. That's what its job is. The intellect is protecting you from what you don't know. I know, it's kind of weird because you don't know what you don't know, number one. Number two, what you don't know may be better than what you do know. But your intellect is pretty sure that if you don't know it, it can't be better. That's our primitive fear brain, and it shows up all the time, camouflaged as practicality. Well, I'm just a realist. Well, I'm just being practical about it. Well, I just don't, and I just can't, and I won't. I could get on a few soapboxes about that one, but I'm going to tell you what, the women who have decided to invest in themselves and try something different because they believe that it's possible, and they have at least this much trust in me, trust in themselves, and know that I've been places they haven't been, and know that the 500 plus women that we've coached have been places that they haven't been. That's pretty good evidence to know that we've got something going on that can absolutely make this your best year ever. Paula, I definitely did not have a role model. I had no idea what to do. Absolutely. And Paula, you've been a freaking rock star. Paula's a fantastically successful client. And Paula, kudos to you because you kept working on yourself and you kept showing up to be a better and better version of yourself. Paula has actually had one of the most tragic paths in her career and life that one could imagine. And she decided on the verge of nothing else working to invest in herself. Scared, unsure what was going to really happen. And she believed in herself a little bit, and she believed in us. And within 12 weeks, she was gainfully employed after a year of just absolute tragedy. So Paula, shout out to you, my darling. Kristen, another Michelle, you're just about to embark on your journey. Glad to have you here. So many of the women that we've worked with have really discovered that there is a soulful life path that doesn't have to be some weird entrepreneurial laptop lifestyle answer. I personally believe that that is a harder journey than most people know, and not really the way to go for so many of the women on this planet. If you have education, expertise, and experience, and you're really not leveraging it, you have a problem. Just like if you had a sprained ankle and you had to walk 10 miles to work, you have a problem. And if you keep walking on that sprained ankle in the attempt to get to work, you are going to do further damage. And that's what happens. Time and again, we see the first failed job, the first failed promotion, this, that, and the other thing, followed very quickly by another disaster, but the stakes get higher. The next time it's more aggravating, more stress, worse boss than ever. You are going to attract into your life the lesson until you solve it. Until you heal and solve your lesson, you're going to keep attracting it. I don't know how to more plainly spell this out, but if your career has been a series of the same things happening, you have one person to fess up with, and that's the woman in the mirror. You've got to fess up with her in order to have this be your best year ever. And you have it in you. You just don't know how to get it, I don't think, just like Paula. Yes, Paula, still working on yourself. Laura, hello. Awesome. She's working on her modules. She's getting stuff cranked up. And here's the thing. Your own journey is your own journey. So take your life and career for seriousness and know that you are the one who can make it happen. We have the handbook and the recipe to take you there. It's not for everyone, but it sort of is for everyone, because if you're not happy with who you are, you've got a problem. It's like having a sprained ankle and needing to walk. You are limping through life if you're not happy inside. If you're not waking up and excited to go to work, there's a problem. If you're not making the money that you want to make, there's a problem. If you don't know how to navigate the work environment and you're saying, I'm not political, I just don't do that, you've got a problem. Of course you do that. You're political with every other person in your life, but all of a sudden at the workplace, it's like, I don't do that. Come on, ladies. You know how to politically maneuver your husband, your kids, your family, and your friends. Don't tell me you don't, because you do. All of a sudden in the workplace, it's like, oh, I don't know how to do that. You know how to manipulate people. You do it all the time. It's a normal human thing to do. Why aren't you doing it at work for your own personal gain? Do you know what kind of a check you're writing to either insecurity, self-doubt, job trauma, settling, staying safe? You're writing a big check. You're literally writing a check. If you're making $100,000 a year and you know you should be making $160,000, you're writing a $60,000 check every year under this practical fear brain that's convinced you not to go for that. If you're making $160,000 and you know you should be over $200,000, you're writing a check. You are. I know how to help women up-level through those peaks and plateaus. If your compensation and your title has been plateaued for greater than 5 years, and by plateaued, I'm talking about if you're only getting the 2% merit, if that's your life, if that's your career, it's sick, it's diseased, it needs to be treated. You have got to make a decision to make this your best year ever. So exactly how does this go? Let me tell you this. On my webinar, I talk about gremlins. I talk about not having a destination big enough or worthy. I talk about the owning the room problem. And I also talk about not knowing where you're going. Most of the women we talk to lacking clarity because it feels like they're striking out where they're at. We solve all of that. And the first thing we do in our workshop is get at the soul level of you, because without that best part of you, there is no clarity. There's no strategy for your career. There's no great interviewing. If that part of you is dormant, you're not going to have your best year ever. If your soul, that big, powerful, awesome you, is not alive and needs to be resuscitated, you need help. Get it resuscitated. That's what we do. We resuscitate souls. And Kathy called us her pit crew because that's what we do. We are tactical, strategic. We have techniques and tools that are going to just give you a lifetime of access to success. But the ingredient that you need before all of those great tools is your soul. It's just like having a great engine in that race car. You can have the most beautiful chassis of a race car, great tires, gas in the tank, but if that engine is puttering and sputting and not functioning, you're not going anywhere. And you could be grinding gears. Why am I not going anywhere? Because you need to fuel up your soul. You can't have the best year ever if your soul is dead, if your soul is close to dead. And if you've been battered around in the workplace, if you've been passed over for promotions, if you're being taken for granted, pigeonholed, a toxic environment, if you've been attracting all of that into your life, you need to bring your soul back to life. It's the first thing we do. And then once that happens, and only after that, you need a great strategy to figure out that dream job, that next career move that's going to take you in the right place. Get the defibrillator pads. Sherry, you are so funny. Sherry, marvelous work in the workshop so far, darling. We are on the verge of your breakthrough to that next level, and I'm so excited for you. So here's the thing, ladies, and if there's any gentlemen listening, make this year better than it's currently been. Make this your best year ever. Make this the year that you circle on your life timeline and say, this is the year that I made it happen. Stop writing checks to settling. Stop writing checks to bad bosses and corporations that are eating your soul alive. Look, that $20,000 a year may not seem like such a big deal, even though it's over $2,000 a month. It may not seem like that big of a deal this year, but next year, the year after, how about in 2025, when you're still doing the same thing? That $20,000 check that you've been writing is now $100,000. And you've been writing it for years prior. The numbers add up. We help women get increased compensation because they increase the level that they're playing in the workplace. Or they just go to a much better company, and or we help them negotiate. And once you have those skills, you've got them for life. So the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you've been leaving on the table up until now have cost you a lot. It doesn't feel good in here either. The checkbook's not as big as you want it to be. The soul is not as big as you want it to be. It's time to take control and make this a better year. I know that you're worth it because I know every person with a heartbeat has a soul. And if you've got an education that is not working for you and you're still paying student loans, why aren't you making the most money you can? Why? Answer me that. I don't get it. Years ago, when I had a big credit card debt that I made some bad moves on some things I wanted to do and career expansion that was totally ill-guided because I was just trying anything. I realized that in order to really take care of my credit card debt, I just needed to get a better job. I just needed to make more money. And of course, discipline myself in the money. And that's another thing that we work with our clients in the workshop. We go through some money mindset at a deep level, actually. And here's the thing. All of these things are important for you to have an awesome life. And that's what's on the other side of what may be vexing you. That's on the other side of having a bad job or losing a job. There is a wonderful, wonderful path. And so many of our clients have said, Mo, I didn't even realize that life could be this way, that life could be this awesome, that I could actually have a better relationship with my kids, better relationship with my husband. So often the husbands pop on the coaching calls to say hello and to share their gratitude and their thanks for helping their wife or their partner up level, be more awesome. Because if you're married, not all of you are, but if you're married, the person who married you or is living with you probably fell in love with the best parts of you. Maybe those parts have kind of shrunk down and are not that active for a while. Let's bring her back. Let's bring her back, as Sherry says, with the defibrillator pads. Sherry knows that I'm a cardiac nurse, and I often rely on my medical and health stories and metaphors in order to make a point. So let's get you defibrillated back. Let's get that soul back to life. Let's make this the best year ever. Make a commitment today. If you have not had a clarity call, book your clarity call with us. There's a link here, mofaul.com/live clarity call. Book it there. If you have had a clarity call and you were like, oh, I don't know, I'll try it on my own, and things maybe haven't gone exactly what you wanted to happen, or you haven't quite gotten there, consider investing in yourself. Book another call with us and let's talk through what the strategy is for you. Let's get reacquainted and let's figure out what's going on now. I've had several women come back a year, 2 years after their initial clarity call when they weren't really ready to take responsibility for what was going on. And when they finally get in the driver's seat and decide that their life is too important, they make massive, quick progress. So far in the last couple of weeks, we've had a woman who was fired 3 times, now making $30,000 more, and her happiness is off the charts. We had a woman who I had a clarity call with about a month after she got laid off. Daughter at home, single mom, scared to death, didn't have loads of money to invest, but she realized that if she didn't get the help, she was going to suffer for a long time. In 4 weeks, she landed a job, awesome job, dream job actually, 4 weeks. All right. Her dream job making $12,000 more. She's a $100K earner and she's on her way to much more. She is happier than ever. Happier than ever. We have a woman who's been over 25 years in the same company and she's had a good career. It's okay. It's all right. And she wanted to do more. She wanted to explore more within her company. And all of a sudden, week 4 or 5 in the workshop, a fantastic opportunity opened up in her company. And she said, Mo, I would have really never gone for that job if it weren't for the work I've done here, because now I know it's possible for me to have that level of job. So she's got a really big, nice promotion and a bigger job, global opportunity. She's going to be more visible. She's really going to own her truth and her power and do what she really loves in a global position for her company. Rock stars. That's what we turn our ladies into, kick-ass rock stars. If you want that for this year and you want to make sure that your next decade is better than ever, let's get to work. Let's have your life as your priority. Let's have your career as your priority. They come hand in hand. So we take care of you in the workshop, and we will. Every step of the way, we have your hand. We will up-level your soul and your career. Soul first, career second. Your soul is your secret weapon to having a much more wonderful career and more successful career path. I want you to know how to live life the way it was meant to live. I want you to know how to enjoy yourself and enjoy life and be a lovely, beautiful soul contributor on this planet. I want you to have the life that your creator intended you to have. Let's go for it. Let's make this happen for you. Let's make it the best year ever. Ever. Best year ever. Book your clarity call. And if you already had one with us, but you were a little bit too shy and not sure, let's get it rocking and rolling for you. mofaul.com/live clarity call. And thank you, ladies, for joining me. Shout out to some of my current and past clients, all rock star, kick-ass, lovely ladies. living their best selves. Michelle, Miliana, Kristen, Paula, Laura, Sherry, and anyone else who's here, shout out to you. You've made this your best year ever. Let's keep it rocking and rolling. And for those of you who have not jumped on best year ever, make it happen. Take action for yourself. No one else will. It's up to you. This is Coach Mo Faul. I will see you later, and I'll see those of you who are on the workshop or in my grad group in those wonderful communities. I'll see you later. Have a great rockin' week. Make it your best year ever. Make decisions. See you next time.